what's up? So this is the updated version of the Blade Vortex, and this is for the low and high budget. There will not be a mid budget because we are this late into the league. I assume everybody has some currency to actually go into the high budget or somewhere around there. Okay, so this is actually the cold conversion Blade Vortex. Just a quick introduction, right? Why cold conversion? It's because we are converting our physical damage to cold damage, and cold damage scales very well with stuff like hatred, Herald of Ice. You're gonna have more explosions, and cold damage is kind of like a better defensive attack, right? The better defensive attack where you can freeze and chill the enemy, that gives you more space to actually go through or go past the mobs safely. Alright, so this is actually a mapper. You need to bear that in mind. It is not a bosser. It is actually quite a bad bosser. I would say it is more like a 80 to 90% mapper, and this is the best mapper I've ever played so far. Alright. The estimated cost of this build for the low budget is just around 1 div, and the high budget is around 50 divine orb. I have always tried to maintain around there. Okay, so before I go through the details of this build, I'm going to show you guys a clip of my previous league runs for this. Alright everyone, so as usual, the POB has been updated on my Google Sheet already. You can find it under the POE builds. Alright, it's over here. Just look for the Blade Vortex. So POB over here and the trade links are over here. You are able to click it. So everything that you are required to buy is over here. The trade links are here as well, so do not miss them out. Okay, this is for the low budget. It costs 1 div, and the high budget is roughly around 50 div. Okay, I cannot be exact every single time because the price are always fluctuating. Please make sure to check the notes, and I've included a new section on column J here. As you can see, this is the section on how to craft the items yourself. Okay, so for those of the things that can be crafted on your own, I have written down the steps and the things that you need to do, so please take note. So for example, I'm just going to give one example for the Blizzard Crown. The steps is basically to purchase the 3 items on the left under the do it yourself here. Okay, so buy these 3 items, right? Make sure one of them is a Blizzard Crown. This red indication is just for you to double check. Right click on the Awakener's Orb, and then you left click the thing that is not the item that is not Blizzard Crown, and then you left click a second time on the item that is the Blizzard Crown. The last thing that you click will become the Blizzard Crown, and that is the base that we want for this. Alright, then benchcraft maximum life on it. I hope this is helpful, this column. So other than the Awakener's Orb, there is the fracture crafting as well. So I've written down here. The rest of them you can just take a look, and the gems are all below as well. Okay. Alright, there is one more thing I want to mention before I go through the build. So guys, if you are going to follow another person's BV build guide, please do not come to me for help. Or if you are not going to follow, I would say 80 to 90% completely, please do not come and ask me for help, because the build variant is very different and I do not know how it works. Alright, so if you're going to change too many things, it's very difficult for me to advise or to help correct you on what is right and wrong, because it is very off from the original version, and as this is my own build, I am of course familiarized with my own variant, right? So anything out of there is going to be a little bit difficult for me, and I cannot guarantee that I might be able to fix it for you. And I would like to go through the low budget version first. So this is the tree for level 80. This is a low budget, so of course I'm going to keep it at level 80. I have another separate tree for level 68. Just right after you finish Act 10, you'll be able to play it. Another one is if you are going above level 80, then there's a level 93 which gives you further damage boost. Alright, if you go beyond level 90, you can just take additional life nodes from maybe over here, or additional damage nodes somewhere else that can increase your damage. Alright, very straightforward. And there's only one thing I want to emphasize over here, which is this. Okay, this custom mastery, it is very mandatory to take. Skill supported by Unleash have +1 to maximum number of seals. Because we are not going to use Awaken Unleash, we need this +1 to seal so that we can cast 5 stacks every single time. Otherwise, you're not going to have maximum uptime on your 10 stacks of BV blades. Okay, so just please do take note of that. Other than that, I'll leave the rest of the skill tree for you to view. Alright, and in terms of skills, sorry, the 6th link will be Vow Blade Vortex. Alright, remember it is Vow Blade Vortex, so that you can cast multiple BVs at one shot. And then Unleash, Power Charge on Crit, Inspiration, and your last two will be increased crit damage and hypothermia. So if you have a 4 link, just follow the order accordingly. Crit damage and hypothermia is not mandatory if you only have a 4 link. Okay, next will be our usual cast when damage taken and Molten Shell. Because we will be running Determination, we have lots of armor, so Molten Shell is going to soak up a lot of damage. Vow Haste here is literally just for the movement speed. Okay, with because this is a low budget, so you're not going to move extremely fast. You do not have Tailwind, Elusive, or whatsoever, so Vow Haste is going to speed things up a bit. Right, next will be your movement skill. So movement skill will be Flame Dash plus Arcane Surge. Arcane Surge for the spell damage, additional spell damage, and I am actually adding Cowling Strike over here. So Cowling Strike is just to clear bosses like unique bosses or map bosses that you might find it a little bit difficult. And on Flame Dash, it is particularly better because of the burning ground that it leaves is actually able to cow as well. Okay, your Vortex debuff, Vortex Hex Touch, Frostbite, and Bone Chill. Okay, yeah, there is really nothing much over here. Auras, we're gonna run Hatred, Determination, Herald of Eyes, and Clarity. So no Defiance banner because we do not have enough reservation, and I don't feel it is needed to invest more into it. Anyway, we are probably just going to go straight into packs of mobs and just explode them. Right, the last but not least is Arcanist brand. So this is something new. I am going to put Assassin's Mark, Frostbomb, and Stone Golem onto it. So if you don't want Stone Golem, it's fine. I will put faster casting. Okay, so faster casting is probably the next option. Why faster casting is because if you are going to have faster cast speed, your Arcanist brand is going to cast multiple times or faster. Alright, so if you have 3 skills like over here, which is originally what it was, every 1 second is going to cast 1 time. Alright, and this is based on your cast speed. So I think according to my cast speed, it should cast every 0.5 seconds. I think so, okay? I'm not exactly sure. Maybe I can take a quick look over here. Yeah, there's a hit rate over here, cast rate 2.0. So yeah, I think it's about 0.5 seconds. I'll cast it every time. And please remember, the order of your skill gems, right, is what Arcanist brand will prioritize in casting first. So let's say Arcanist brand is on the top left of your boots, alright, it's falling, and then the next one beside is Assassin's Mark, and following down is Frostbomb. So basically it goes down the link and then it will prioritize which skills will be casted first. So Assassin's Mark will be first, Frostbomb will be second, and then Stone Golem will be last. Right, so to take note of that. For the items, I'm going to go with Obliteration for your weapons, okay? So I think some of you might be confused over here. Why are we using Obliteration as it is exploding chaos damage? Doesn't it screw up the damage or something like that? So first of all, it is gain so and so physical damage as extra chaos damage. There is no conversion here or whatsoever, alright? So it is just gaining physical damage from Blade Vortex into chaos damage. Right, if you actually see Hatred over here, it is exactly the same thing. So you and nearby allies gain 25% of physical damage as extra cold damage, right? This is so strong because we convert 100% of physical damage to cold, and this is basically going to give us additional 25% on top of it, right? It is gain, alright? Remember, it's gain. So after you convert 100%, so let's say it's 100%, you have Hatred, so it becomes 125%. Okay, just think of it that way. And then you have Obliteration, which is, let's just say 35% here. You're going to get 125 plus 35. Okay, plus 35. So with 2 Obliteration, it will be plus 70. And that is why it doesn't matter. We are just using this wand for the explosion and the additional chaos damage. Okay, helmets and the rest of your items just cover your resistance, attributes, and life. Okay, I've just listed some of the things here, for example, including your benchcraft. Body armor, just go with the tabula rasa, and gloves go for Hrim Sorrow because we have 100% of physical damage converted to cold damage. Right, your flask is very simple. Go for movement speed with the Quicksilver, diamond with the crit, granite with the armor, and sulfur with the reduced curse effect, and of course your life flask with immunity to bleeding. Okay, next will be the high budget version. This will be more complicated, so you have to listen really carefully. Alright, so first up, this is the level 95 tree. I have 4 more skill trees starting at level 80 because this is the bare minimum that you can play this build due to the items and your awakened gems. Alright, so level 80 is the bare minimum, and then you have 90, and it scales the best at level 95. If you have reached level 100, then you're going to get more DPS instead. Okay, so I'm just going to use a level 95 tree. So this is life based. I'm just going to go through a quick one on the stats. I did not do for a low budget because it is low budget, it varies very differently. So I try to make the life as close as 5,000 so that there is a good decent amount of life with benchmarking on all your fire, cold, lightning, resist kept nicely. Alright, and then we have more than enough mana to actually cast our Blade Vortex and all the other skills. There's no evasion, so our armor is actually 31,000. I have physical damage reduction capped here because my Watcher's Eye is basically the determination mod. Okay, so if you do not have the determination mod, I think it's gonna sit at around 83%. Okay, 83% or 85%. It's around there, roughly around there, and we still have a very good amount of freeze damage reduction. Alright, everything else is capped, and our DPS is going to be around 13 million. Alright, around 13 million. When you buy your stuff, it can vary from higher to lower depending on the range of items that you actually buy. Most likely, okay, most likely it will always be lower. So I will give it around 11 to 12M. As long as you are 10M around that range, it is actually really very good already. Okay, so notes wise, we have to put the Militant Fate over here because we are going to take so much notes over here that it will benefit us the most. And please remember to check before you purchase your Militant Fate that the Carve to Glorified numbers does not block any of the notes over here. Alright. Okay, so the next one is here. I want to emphasize this Cold Mastery is very important. Do not miss it out. If you do not have this, you will not have your damage is going to drop a lot. Look, it's 3 million because we will not be converting. Okay, so please do take note of that. Next is the Cluster Jewels. So the Cluster Jewels, we're going to go with the same one, which is 1 physical, 8 cluster with Battle Harden, Force Multiplier, and Iron Breaker. Physical damage scaling because we are converting full physical damage to cold damage, so it doesn't matter. Alright. And cold damage is going to be the usual Blast Freeze, Doyanis Lesson, and Prismatic Heart. Doyanis Lesson is really just there for the Elemental Leech. Alright, otherwise I wouldn't have bothered about it. Okay, and on the left side is pretty much the same. Your Crit Life, Aura Notes, and one socket with the Power Charge. And on the right is also the same. Okay, so what I have dropped this time is Unnatural Instinct. Previously, I have put Unnatural Instinct over here, and now I think it is not worth it because I find that Blood Drinker is really, really very important, right? So the Unnatural Instinct, not only is it expensive, but I feel it is not worth for this build. Alright, so hooray, no Unnatural Instinct. You don't need to spend a crap ton of currency on that. Right, there will be no Unnatural Instinct over here. Yes, there is one more last changes. So basically, it is the small cluster jewel here. Previously, I was using 2 passive skills with 25% increase effect and even 2 enlighten on the equipments. Alright, so now I have found the solution, and basically it's just to use a 3 passive. We have more than enough skill points, so it is worth it. Please get the small cluster jewel, 1 for hatred and 1 for determination, which is Spiteful Presence and Uncompromising, alright, with 25 increase effect. I don't need you to get 35%, so just 25% is more than enough. Unless you are feeling rich, then you can try and find for the 35%, but it will be very, very, very expensive. Okay, it's not really needed. Alright, and on to the skills section. So the Blade Vortex is exactly the same. It's exactly the same. Please just follow accordingly with the different types also. On Inspiration, I'm just going to use Anomalous for the extra crit chance. I don't need Divergent for the reduced mana. Hypotomia, Divergent works better than a 2120. Alright. And over here, right, the Blade Vortex 2020 will be enough, okay? If you have spare currencies, you can actually increase this to a 2120 Blade Vortex. You can see the damage is going to jump. Okay, make sure you have enough decks to do so, of course. But yeah, 2120 is going to scale a lot better. And over here, this is the same setup, alright, as the low budget. So cast when damage taken and Molten Shell. And the third slot will be using Val Haze. So for those of you that doesn't want to use Val Haze actually gives a lot of movement speed. You'll be moving so fast and killing things so fast. It actually kind of it satisfies the build, alright? So you will be super fast and super powerful. But if you do not want Val Haze, the other alternative is basically to use an enhanced level 4. Okay, I think level 4 it's fine. What it basically does is it gives you more effective HP because of Molten Shell. Just treat this like you are equipping the Ashes of the Star, alright? Having this, basically, the buff of Molten Shell is gonna take additional 10% of your armor. So that's why it's a lot. And this is the alternative if you do not want to use Val Haze. Alright, movement skill is still the same. Flame Dash, Arcane Surge, Cowling Strike, Vortex is also still the same. Aura is slightly different. So over here, we are going to use Determination, Hatred, and Purity of Elements. And this is going to equip with Enlighten level 3. I'm not asking for level 4. You don't need to get Enlighten level 4. Okay, it is not necessary. Level 3 is enough. I'm not asking you to break your bank just to do this build. Okay, the second set of auras is basically your Herald of Ice, Herald of Purity, Defiance Banner, and Clarity. Okay, please purchase the Anomalous Herald of Purity. This is going to be so good for your survivability because the Sentinels are going to taunt many times. Okay, and this actually gives you a very good defensive layer whereby the monsters don't aggro you, but it aggroes the Sentinels instead. Like, it doesn't matter because the Sentinels are always going to be almost at maximum count for 4 of them, I think. Maximum of 4, right? I can't remember, but yes, over here, maximum 4 summon Sentinel of Purity. As long as you destroy packs of monsters, you're always going to have 4, okay? And Clarity, if you have enough or more mana, you can always increase them as you wish, okay? Just make sure you have enough mana to use them. Okay, and now to the item section. So this is the complicated one. First of all, weapon. I'm just gonna go ahead and use Void Battery because I don't want to make it very troublesome. The bow and a quiver is actually better. It's actually better, but it's very troublesome to craft it, and we are already having so many rare items, so I do not want to complicate things. This is actually just good enough with the increased spell damage +1 to power charge to give us more AoE and stuff like that. Alright. Nothing much to say about the weapon already. It's very straightforward. Helmet, we're going to go with the +1 power charge and nearby enemies have minus cold resist. So this is the same as COC, just that the difference is the enchantment, okay? Please enchant with increased blade vortex duration, not damage. You don't need damage anymore. The damage is enough already. We need the duration so that we can always have 10 stacks at full uptime. If you do not have this, you cannot have 10 blades at full uptime. Alright, please remember that. Okay, I've explained how to craft this in my Google Sheet, so if you do not know, please head over there to check it out. Right, same for the chest. This is the Sacrificial Garb. The reason why we are using Sacrificial Garb is because we are using Vow Blade Vortex, right? And this is +1 to all Vow skill gems. Okay, so please do take note of this. Enemies have a chance to explode from Crusader and increase effect of non-curse auras from your Redeemer. Gloves. We are going to go back with our Incursion Gloves. And it is the same, just that you have to remember that you need to leave a prefix slot to bench craft 25% of physical damage converted to cold damage. Alright. For those of you that does not know how to get 100% conversion now that we are not using Cream Sorrow, 25% is from here, 40% is from the Cold Mastery, right? And the last one is basically from your Watcher's Eye. Where's my Watcher's Eye? Okay, I think it's over here. Yeah. Right, so 35%, I'm not asking for 40%, so just 35% is enough. Okay, so with 35, 25, and 40, you're gonna reach 100% cap in to convert cold physical damage to cold damage. Right, we're not gonna use the crit for this one because our crit is actually really very high already without the base crit chance. Right, so last but not least, your Saving Exarch and your Eater of War, please just roll them yourself. For the unnerve and the cold exposure on hit. Okay, boots. Boots is the main change over here. So previously I was just using a Hunter Tailwind boots with life and movement speed. And I realized now that with the changes I can hit around near 5000 life, which is better improvement. I don't need the life anymore on the boots, so I decided to go for the all-in-one movement speed boots, where you have Hunter for your Tailwind, Redeemer for your Elusive, and just Benchcraft for your Onslaught. So this is literally an all-in-one increased movement speed boost, okay? You can see now I have 170%, right? If I were to remove these boots and I don't have Onslaught and Tailwind, it's going to be 80% only. So these boots, right, basically is going to give us 90% increased movement speed. And with this movement speed, it's going to feel very, very smooth throughout your runs. Right? Amulet is the same. You're going to go for the Shaper Redeemer Amulet, which has the gain 50% of physical damage and extra cold damage and 12% increased mana reservation efficiency of skills after you have put in the life and mana catalyst. Okay, so Do remember for this amulet is slightly special. Both Shaper and Vladimir has both of these mods, alright? As long as it is a standalone mod, in either one of these influence, you can fuse them. It doesn't matter, right? And make sure to allocate Charisma so that we have enough mana to reserve all our auras. Right, next is the first ring. The first ring is basically just get a base resist ring, fractured ring of course, so that you can craft. Unless you can just find it straight on the trade market, then you don't have to craft it yourself. Alright, and then I'll just spam Essence of Sorrow until I've hit either the strength or the life, and lastly just craft the non-challenging skills have -8 to total mana cost. Okay, for the other one, we have to use a Hunter ring. Okay, so basically, why we want to use a Hunter ring is because we need the cursed enemies with elemental weakness on hit. We cannot apply a mark for this unless you self-cast, and I do want to make the build so troublesome. I just want a simple vortex movement, one button, blade vortex, click and go kind of things. Right? If you have to keep self-casting Assassin's Mark, I think it's very troublesome, and it will not feel so good when you're actually mapping. Alright, so just curse enemies with elemental weakness on hit. And all you need is basically life plus this particular elemental weakness modifier and an empty prefix to craft strength and dex. Right, that's all you really need for here. Belt is also the same. All you need is actually just life and you can benchcraft resist. I spam the chaos resistance over here, so you can just get a leather belt with fractured life and throw in the essence which gives you chaos resistance. The flask applied to you have 8% increase effect. Is not mandatory, okay? You can have armor, you can have any other thing. What else is there? Okay, I can't remember, but what I'm trying to say, it is not mandatory, so you do not need to roll so many times, okay? Just remember that you need an empty suffix to benchcraft the strength and dex for here. Okay, flask is just your Quicksilver flask with reduced effect of curse, diamond flask for quick strike chance, granite flask for armor. This diamond and granite, you're gonna have the specialist prefix, so that when you crit, you actually get a flask charge, and both of them will be full uptime as long as you are always critting. Okay, Amethyst flask with the immunity to bleed and corrupted blood, and last but not least, our Portal Fate for the extra tons of damage. Right, the rest of them is literally just base jewel with a single line mod of life and 2 lines of critical strike multiplier. Okay, of course, do not forget your your medium cluster jewel for AoE, for area damage. You need towering threat and vast power. Just 2 of this is enough. Okay, and this is roughly how the build will be. So the next thing I want to talk about for this high budget build is, what if I've completed? How do I min-max this build? Okay, very simple. I have the very high budget over here. Alright, so the very high budget here is basically to put in a Headhunter or the Ashes of the Star, or you can put both. Alright, both is fine. You are actually going to increase your damage by quite a little bit. You can see here. Okay, it doesn't really show very significantly, but with Ashes of the Star, right, you're going to increase in both your survivability and your damage. Okay, you cannot just simply see that, oh, the full DPS has only increased by 600. Nah, it's not worth it. No, that is not how it works. Alright, you can see my effective hit pool actually increased by 30, yeah, around 30k. Right, this is because Ashes of the Star improves quality of all skill gems, so that includes your Molten Shell. Okay, also your levels to determination and stuff like that. That is why with this we can hit 90% damage reduction also. And yeah, so that's for Ashes of Star. And Headhunter over here is just, I think, self-explanatory, right? It's really good and fun with mapping. Okay, other than that, what else can you change? So the next thing you can change is basically the Forbidden Flame and Flash for Heart of Destruction. Alright, what you need to do is just replace any 2 of the jewels with this. So let's just say, where is the other one? Okay, here. Okay, here. So 1 Forbidden Flame and 1 Forbidden Flash for Heart of Destruction. And what Heart of Destruction does is it gains convergence when you hit a unique enemy. no more than once every 8 seconds. So when you gain convergence, you gain 30% more elemental damage, okay? So this is more towards single target, which is what actually this build is lacking. So like map bosses, only map bosses and special unique stuff, okay? So let me just show you. Do you have convergence? Where is convergence? Okay, here. Look, the DPS increased by 3 million. Right, actually it's nearly more than 3 million, it's about 4 million. Okay, so that's why the DPS increase is really a lot, especially when you want to do bossing with this character, or you actually scene stuff, or you do 100% delirious map with this character all the way until the end of the boss, and the boss is actually very strong. This is where this node actually comes into play. It is very, very powerful. So the other part about how a convergence is, what if you are not bossing, okay? You have 60% increased area effect while you don't have convergence. So if you don't have convergence, your blade vortex is going to be so big and the clear is going to be so good that you are going to explode things even way off screen that you do not see. And that's why this particular Forbidden Flash and Flame, in my own opinion, is actually really good and worth it to change. Alright, at the cost of giving up 500 life, of course. That's if you want to change with Ashes. Okay, if not, you have about 4,600 life. I think it is enough. The main point over here is you have a Headhunter, so it really doesn't matter about life. As long as you don't go too low, it is fine. Alright, so that is all for the build. For the high budget section, before you actually ask me any questions, please do read through the notes first. I have a few of the commonly asked questions. Do go through a quick one before you actually ask me, so that I do not need to repeat whatever that is commonly asked. Okay, I really appreciate that. And yeah, that's all. If you are playing this build, I assure you this is a very, very fun mapper build. Enjoy. Okay, that comes to the end of this video. So if you have any questions, do join the Discord and I will try to answer your questions. And if you like my video, do remember to hit the like and subscribe button. I will see you in the next one.